Hello, friends, and welcome to WOD on a Saturday, whether it's Saturday morning, afternoon, or evening. If you're in the Carolinas and you're snowed in, like we are over in the Carolinas with the ice storm, winter storms coming through, or if you're anywhere else in the world just enjoying your Saturday pastime, thank you for tuning in to WOD on the Boom Broadcasting right here on YouTube. So much to talk about, so much time. We got snow in the Carolinas. I got all day. I got Raw on Netflix. We got NXT, hot SmackDown last night. Let's get ready to jump into WOD right here on the Boom Broadcast. And welcome to WOD. I hope you got your seatbelt strapped on because we got a great show today with a hot Raw, Netflix, and a hot SmackDown. But before we even start the day's show, can we say one thing? Raw is not war. Raw is Netflix. That's right. Monday Night Raw made their anticipating debut on Netflix. And I gotta say, what a great way to start off Raw. I mean, a great show. Netflix leaving USA. Netflix, we can get a little more edgier, a little more swearing than what we could do on USA. They swear a little bit on USA, but they kind of scaled it back, dialed it back. But on Netflix, we can get just a tad bit more of the edginess that you need, where you can kind of dance around that PG 13 level and kind of play in that gray area. And that's something we as wrestling fans have not seen WWE do a long time, was getting that PG 13 era that yours truly grew up watching in middle school, high school, watching the toughest SOB Stone Cold, watching The Rock, watching D-Generation X, watching all that stuff, the NWO on WCW Monday Nitro. We have really not seen that edginess. So coming on this one, I said they gotta have a little bit. They don't have to push the envelope all the way to the table. Don't have to say we're all in, for a better word. This was AEW. We don't have to say we're all in, but we can say we're gonna just push the envelope a little bit and then ease on and push it again. And that's what we got on Raw is Netflix on the first one. First of all, Monday Night Raw drew over 4.9 million people tuned in and watched it on Netflix. 4.9 million people. When is the last time we have said that a Monday Night Raw had that type of viewership? And they kind of hit those strides last year on the road to WrestleMania when it was announced that The Rock was going to be there. People tuned in because we wanted to see Rocky, People's Champ. We want to see Rock. We know what The Rock brings when he comes out. Great promo, great energy, gets everybody going. That nostalgia said, if you smell, when you hear that, it doesn't matter if you are 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, or 10 years old. When you're there, if you smell, you're going to pop, whether you're at the stadium or in your own house watching the comfort of your living room, den, or man cave. So the draw 4.9 million was great for the first episode on the Netflix. Then they just went and had a great show. Now, there was some things done on this Raw that if I could rebook, had to use my term like my guys book it like a Martin do, I would have to rebook it. But I was satisfied with the show. Rock opens up. You knew Monday Night Raw on Netflix, debut show. Rock's already advertised to be there. We knew going in a year ago when they were pretty much announced they were going to Netflix that Rock was going to be on the show. We knew that. You're not going to open up this great beginning of a new era without having arguably one of the best people from the old era on it who still has fans that gravitate to him. There's only to me really five people out of that era that was my middle school, high school. A lot of people who watched WOD elementary school era, but it's only the attitude era It's only really 5 people you could have. Well, we could say 6, but the 6th guy couldn't come. But we'll name them. But it's only the 5 wrestlers that we know that could definitely do it. You're gonna have to have Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, who we'll talk about in a little bit, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Mr. McMahon. And we said Mr. McMahon couldn't come because of right now he has separated himself from the WWE because of some allegations he's got going on with some other stuff. So those are the 6 you can have. Now you can bring the Outlaws, but you can't get Billy Gunn because he's at AEW. Could X-Pac get a pop coming out? Yeah, depending on how hot the crowd is. Coming off a hot match, could X-Pac come out? Yeah, you make a throw into RVD. Hey, Hardy's going to be in one of those ones. They're signed to TNA. But if they were free agents, they could have came and got a good pop on this Raw Netflix. So it's not that many people you could bring from that to there. Dudley Boys definitely would have been another contender for a tag team you could have brought out to get a nice little pop. But The Rock is arguably the biggest star from the Attitude Era besides Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're the top 2 stars. If you can't get Stone Cold open up, you got to get the People's Champ, The Rock. And I was so excited when I heard The Rock's music. And then I heard the other music hit it, the Hollywood Rock thing. It's cooking. And I saw the People's Championship. I saw the necklace. I saw the vest. I saw the shades. And I said, there's the final boss. There's my guy. The final boss. And what do we get right there? The Rock goes straight, baby face promo, mouth dropped to the ground, just devastated when I hear him giving Cody Rhodes congratulations and taking us into the future. All of this stuff, it just was unreal to me because I got to arguably say The Rock reinvented himself last year on the road to WrestleMania. Now, and if you go back last year, The Rock really wanted to be a face and face Roman Reigns. Of course, we know what happened. And you talk about right time, right place. That was it because The Rock was able to go transform into the heel. And if you ask me, and this is me on WOD talking, The Rock does his best work as a heel. Now, I know if you're The Rock, you can't be a heel majority of the time. He's a movie star. He's shooting movies left and right. Every time you look, there's a movie dropping with The Rock in it. And shout out, because we probably talk about it, it stinks. But every time you look, The Rock's in the movie. He just had a Christmas one that dropped. Every time you look. So The Rock has to kind of know when to scale it back because, and we're not saying that being a heel on WWE could hurt his status in the movie theater box office, but back in the old days, you just didn't support the heel. You didn't see the heels on TV shows. You didn't see them on I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, Thunder in Paradise. You didn't see them up there. You saw the good guys, Thunder in Paradise. You saw the good guys. You didn't see the heels up there. So The Rock knows now going to Netflix, and especially with a lot of stuff that he has on the Netflix, that he's got to dial it back. And it hurt me because I thought The Rock really hit his stride last year when he became the final boss and went into that heel role. But as I stated on the nightcap, hey, The Rock now is going to be the ambassador for WWE on Netflix. He's going to be the guy that when things go down and the viewership is going down, and the Netflix executives have said, hey, past 4 or 5 weeks, you guys have not been performing where we thought you guys could perform at. Because this is a new partnership. So numbers are going to be, the analytical stuff is going to be on the table every week for Raw to deliver. And when those numbers start going down, they're going to call The Rock up to bring them back up for that one episode to get people back invested. Because even me, and I'll sit right here and say it, when The Rock got hot on that final boss, hey, they came over in the Carolinas. Soon as I found out Raw was coming to the Carolinas, I went immediately on the website, bought a ticket to go to Raw because I just said, hey, maybe the final boss will do a special appearance over in the Carolinas in the capital city. Took the drive to the capital city. Did we get The Rock that night? No, but we got the rest of the bloodline. So I left happy. But I would prefer to have The Rock show up to make it even better. But that's neither here or there. But I was upset that The Rock turned babyface. But I understand it. As far as WWE, it's a business. I understand it. And to jump back before the next segment, to jump back forward, a lot of people were upset. Shout out to my coworker, big wrestling fan. Watches WOD. Watch a lot of stuff on the Boom Broadcasting. He was upset. He said, why would they break kayfabe? We know we don't use the F word on this show, nor on other wrestling shows on the Boom Broadcasting, but we as fans know it's the F word. And why would Triple H break kayfabe and tell it's a show where two people are going to battle? Stuff like that. The stuff, he said, why would they do that at the beginning? Well, you got to understand. A lot of people watching Netflix. First of all, let's do a history lesson. Cable syndication is coming to a near end. Streaming is where it's at. Cut the cord. Cable syndication is coming to an end. This is why you see WWE on the Netflix. Why it was on Peacock, to watch some of their shows after it was on USA. This is why they're on Netflix. This is why the premium live events have moved from Peacock to Netflix. This is why AEW now is on the Max app. A lot of this stuff is going to be on Max app. TNA got an app deal. This is what you're seeing. Cable syndication is coming to an end. So they wanted to introduce the people who had never watched this pro wrestling, never seen it, don't know nothing about it. I keep seeing on my Netflix reminder, Monday Night Raw goes live. I see a guy with a title. I see a guy with a Ula Fala around his neck. I see a lady hanging out the W who says she's the EST. What is this I'm about to tune into? What am I about to watch? I know nothing about pro wrestling. I'm just going to watch it because it's on Netflix. They wanted to introduce the new people to what you're getting ready to see. So when you do tune into it and say, well, this isn't what I expected, they gave you an introduction of it, of what the story of pro wrestling history was about it. I had no problem with that. None at all. I don't think they broke kayfabe. I think they wanted to introduce the Netflix fans who are Netflix watchers who don't know nothing about WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, don't know nothing about the Golden Era, the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, the era we in now, know nothing about it. They want to introduce you to what it was about. I have no problem with Triple H doing that. So Rock goes babyface. That really hurts me all the way. I was devastated. Just devastated about that. So then we go to the first match. And this one, I was upset because it was number one. But you just told people what pro wrestling is, why we watch it. It's a story. It's a journey of a baby face and a heel, and they use those terminologies. Now I'm going to summarize it. And it's a story of a baby face trying to overcome a heel to tell a story of why the baby face needs to win. That's why I've been watching it since I was a little boy, since 3 years old, sitting at Granny's house Saturday morning with the pliers on the TV, with the TV set that sat on the floor, because I wanted to see the good guy win. Then when I got into high school, forget the good guy, man, we want to see the bad guys win. But this is the story. So they wanted to start with a hot match. And with a hot match, you want to tell the story of what got us to the tribal combat. So I thought this was a great selection to have it number one. Now, going in, I was upset. I said, why is this number one? The tribal combat. We as fans have been waiting for this match for over now a year. Since Roman lost to Cody at Mania, 8 to 9 months, we've been waiting for Roman to get back to Ula Fala. Why would you do it? But you have to think about it from a business standpoint of this is going to be the match that tells the story. What a great match. What a great match. For you people who say Solo Sikoa cannot hold his own. And I'm not just talking about in the ring, far as on the mic, far as being a leader of the Bloodline 2.0 is what I call him. He proved you wrong. To me, this young man, this person, Solo, deserves the breakout character award. If WWE had one, he deserves it because he pretty much showed when Roman left, I can make the Bloodline interesting. And when it first started, he was getting booed out the stadium. But when he brought in those extra pieces, Tama Tonga, Tonga Low, Jacob Fatu, Big Bronson Reed, he brought in those corner pieces. And you sometimes don't have to be the guy that holds the glue. Let Jacob Fatu do that. And that's what Solo did. That's what got them over. I love you, Solo. Nobody expected that to now to become a trend. People go waiting to hear Jacob say it, and when they say it, they pop. The guy has made himself a household name, and he gave a good match, a great match. Now, there was talk that Hikuleo would be there. Then we found out that he was injured. That's why he wasn't there. There was a lot of talk on the internet, and I got to stay off the dirt sheets, man. Got to get off of a lot of talk that Zilla was going to show up. And I really thought Zilla would show up because he's a free agent right now. Thought they could get him for one night to come help Roman. You gotta look. He's doing a lot on his end to set himself up for WWE run by putting out there. I acknowledge Roman Reigns as my tribal chief. Those things I really thought with all that he's been doing over the past couple of months, could he did a one-off tonight? Came on Monday Night Raw and appear in this match to get that pop. It was Netflix. First time ever. We got a free agent come here, get a pop, get a paycheck, goes home. Hey, we signed the NXT in maybe 2 to 3 months. It didn't happen, but I truly understand why. Good match. Roman got the win. Roman now is not only the OTC, he's still our tribal chief. We put the ones up and we acknowledge our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And I got to tell you, Rock came out and I said, oh man, it's the heel turn. But then I kept saying, no, it's not going to be a heel turn. They're not going to give you a heel turn tonight, Shawn, because The Rock just cut a bayface promo. Why would he come back a match later, turn on Roman to start the match for him in WrestleMania? If it happens, it's going to be later down the road, but I don't see it happening right now. I think they're going to turn Roman heel and have him fight a babyface Rock leading up to Mania. Not unless Roman can go in, and there's talk he's not winning the Rumble. Yes, we've seen it on the dirt sheets, what they have prepared to say to who's coming in and who's going to win. Not going to spoil it if you haven't seen on the dirt sheets. Roman right now is on that list. Can Roman win the Rumble to get back to Cody for number 3? That's a big question. Now, as we move on to our next match right here on Monday Night Raw, it's time to kick off, which we know, the John Cena Farewell Tour. And this was the perfect spot to have John Cena, to have him after a match with one of his biggest rivals, Roman Reigns. That was one of his biggest rivals throughout his career, on the back end of his career. The John Cena Farewell Tour begins now. Cena comes out, crowd pops, tell him he's entering the Rumble, does what he does, and gets everybody going. And I kind of think seeing Cena leave is going to be hard. And I'm saying that because I wasn't a big Cena guy. But what really got me to like Cena was there was a time when WWE was running a bunch of house shows throughout the Carolinas. We couldn't get a Raw, couldn't get a live SmackDown. We just couldn't get it. Every time you got the Holiday Tour one house show, the SummerSlam leading up Road house show, the Mania leading up the Mania house show. We had all these house shows. And all these house shows I attended throughout the Carolinas for WWE. You know who was main eventing them? John Cena. The guy he's the GOAT, man. He's the greatest of all time. He's in that category with the Triple H's, with the Shawn Michaels, with the Stone Colds, with the Rocks, with the Bret Harts, with the Undertaker. He's in that talk. He's in it. The guy's having the farewell tour. It's only one thing I request. He can't break Flair's record. It can't be him. It's got to be Randy. It's got to be a guy from Evolution that's the first one to break Flair's record. Now, Randy's got a couple more titles he needs to win before he hangs them up. So he's got to get back and get rolling like right now. He's got to beat Gunther to get that World Heavyweight Championship, to get the number 13, I believe, or 14. Then we can start talking about it. So Randy's got some homework he got to do, but he can't be Cena. And I know they wanted to be Cena because Cena's the guy. He's the guy. For a long time, after Stone Cold and Rock left, and Cena ushered in the Ruthless Aggression era, he was the guy, the glue that held everything together. The Undertaker gave him the rub. Everybody that was kind of, the old dog on the yard that was still the gatekeeper gave Cena the rub to be the next guy to carry the torch. He carried the torch very well. But I just don't think he needs to be the one to break Flair's record. I think it needs to be somebody from Evolution. I think it should be Randy. Cena should keep it tied with Flair. But we kick off the road to WrestleMania. We kick off the Cena Farewell Tour. People were glad to see Cena. The crowd popped. I mean, he's shooting for 17. That's why he's getting in the Rumble. He's shooting for 17. I myself don't want him to get 17. I want Randy to get it. I think Randy should be the one to break Flair's record due to his relationship he had with Flair and Evolution. I think it would just be a good ending of the story and a good ending way to usher Randy out. 17 title, drops the title maybe a year later, 8-9 months up to later, drops the title, walks out the door. Hall of Fame career for the Viper Randy Orton. Then we jump into the women's championship match right here. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan. What a great match. Rhea, she's just booked to be dominant. And they booked her dominant. And shout out to Liv. Hats off to Liv. Met Liv. She's a great person. Liv held down the women's division as a heel when Rhea was out and gave Rhea that momentum and juice that while she was out injured, to keep her as a hot baby face. Did things as a heel to keep, even though Rhea wasn't there, to keep her relevant and keep her relevant there. But right now, Rhea's just a major star. I mean, she is the main attraction on Monday Night Raw. She is what the people are paying for on Monday Night Raw to watch on Netflix. She's the star of the show. She's a major star. I mean, she's the reason why every time a new shirt comes out, the little Lucas tells me, Dad, you got to buy me a new Rhea Ripley shirt to wear to school. Everybody's wearing merchandise. She's selling out. She is the star of Monday Night Raw. And it's okay to have a great female as the star leading us in. But Liv did an outstanding job. And a lot of credit does not go to Liv for the work she did to keep Rhea relevant. She kept her very relevant while she was out on the shelf. And now it's time for Rhea to go, have that long title reign, and break that record. Now, it was one thing I didn't like at the end. And I may spend about 3 to 5 minutes on this, and then we'll continue on with Raw. I'm going to sidebar right quick, right on WOD. It's nothing more than seeing the Taker come. Now, we know the Phenom Taker is retired. We know every time he comes, he's going to be the American Badass. We know that. On the bike. We know it. He said the Phenom is officially retired. He's done being the Phenom Undertaker. Coming out on the bike, getting the pop, enjoying it. Wrong time. Rhea does not need the Undertaker's rub. She doesn't need it at all. She don't need it. She don't need Undertaker's rub. Not at all. Not at all. Rhea's a major star. She's a star that made herself. She got herself over. She is not going to say bigger than the Undertaker. She won't never be that big. Can she get there one day? Absolutely. Sky's the limit for Rhea. I'm telling you, sky is the limit. She don't need that Undertaker rub. And I'm going to tell you how you could have redone this one right here. Now, I'm going to rebook right quick. Rebook this one. You could have saved this Undertaker rub, and you could have maybe built up, knowing we were going to Netflix. Braun breaks the IC champ. IC champ was shown on the Netflix show on the first Raw, but he didn't wrestle. And I was a little upset about that. Because if you're a champ, and this is the first show on the new network, all champions should be on display wrestling a match. You had Tribal Combat. You didn't have Gunther wrestle a match. You had them come out and cut promos. You showed Braun in the crowd. The champs should have been up there. Even if you put them against a jobber and have them just blow through a jobber, the champs should have been there because you want people to see who the champ is. I want to see Gunther. I need to see Braun. And this is where I'm going to go back by using Braun. You could have built Braun up as a heel IC champ, wrecking the house, running through everybody. Then you could have had this babyface. I'm going to use Carmelo because I think the Braun and Carmelo chemistry on NXT was probably some of the best work I saw on NXT in a long time, besides freaking Ilya Dragon. But you could have had Braun just wrecking house, running through everybody. Had Carmelo lead up to win a gauntlet, win a battle royal. He had to overcome size. You got to bring him back on Raw. You got to make him a babyface. It's just fantasy armchair booking. That's all I'm doing right now. I know Carmelo's a heel on SmackDown, which is fantasy armchair booking. How to win a battle royal at the beginning of the show after The Rock does his promo. He wins a battle royal. Have win a battle royal at a house show and highlight that. Have win a battle royal on Friday Night SmackDown. He jumped in the transfer portal, came over to SmackDown, won a battle royal. Now he gets a shot at the IC title. Braun's just been wrecking, having beaten everybody you throw at him. It doesn't matter who you throw. If you threw Sami Zayn, he beat him. If you threw anybody else, he beat him. If you threw Ludwig the Kaiser, he beat him. Beat Sheamus. Just throwing him at him. Boom, he's beating him. And you got a guy like Carmelo who's been losing. Looks up, wins a battle royal. Looks up, wins a gauntlet match. Got the crowd behind him. Goes in, has a banger, and burns the house down because him and Braun have so much great chemistry. Burns the house down. Wins the IC title. Fireworks go off. Crowd going crazy. Then you hear that American Badass song kick in right there. When he's walking out, he kicks in. He stand on the stage. Undertaker looks at him, gives him that nod, rides around the ring, comes back, shakes his hand, hold their arms up, do the pose. Lightning strikes on the Titantron. They walk off, and that's the rub you need. And you're saying, wow, what a moment for a guy like Carmelo. What a moment. Been losing matches, can't buy a win. Lux Up wins a gauntlet match or a battle royal. Somebody we didn't predict to win. Has the crowd behind him. Braun is beating him down. He's selling like Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express. That's how good he's selling. He's selling like, for my new crowd right here, selling like Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn is one of the best sellers right now as a babyface. He's selling. He can't win the match. He overcomes and wins the match. Gets the 1, 2, 3, stops Braun IC title reign. Undertaker's music hits. Undertaker circles around, gives this guy the rub. This guy walks back, and now that lets you know he's somebody we can take serious. Rhea did not need the rub. Somebody like Carmelo Hayes could benefit from this. I know he's a heel, just armchair booking. He could have benefited from it. So many people. Good segment right here, but I was just a little disappointed at how it was done because Rhea didn't need it. Now we're moving on to our next match, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre. This was the match I said would probably be the best match on the show because you would get good wrestling because both of these guys can go. Jey Uso is over like Rover. I don't think it's nothing this guy can do or say that will not get over with any crowd. Right now, he's just in a platform stratosphere by himself. Drew McIntyre going on the hit list. And right now, everybody who's been on that hit list that was affiliated with the bloodline, he's beat. So people went into this match expecting that Drew was going to win this match. But what happens? Jey Uso won with a crucifix pin. Not what I really expected with a Jey and Drew match. Jey has shown everybody that he can be a better singles competitor than what credit we want to give him. I think Jey has really blossomed as a singles competitor. I really thought this would be the A match. I thought it was going to be like Solo and Roman, the A match. Rhea and Liv, which I kind of gave like that A- match. It just wasn't what I expected. And that's why I was a little disappointed. I really thought we would get more out of this one. Jey got the win, so McIntyre should get a win back at the Rumble somewhere over Jey, or should take Jey out or eliminate Jey in the Rumble. But a good spot right here, good spot. After that, he had that said, well, what were we thinking, WWE? The guy's name that we won't mention on the show, music hits. And I say, they're not going to do this. And he comes and promotes his beer. And I'm like, poor Jimmy Hart. You know, Jimmy Hart's a good guy, man. Poor Jimmy Hart. He just got sucked into that segment, and you felt bad for him. But this is the time when I want to tell WWE, you got to let go of the past. You got to let these guys go. Not mad at the Undertaker being on the show. He's the Undertaker. Could we done without the Undertaker? Yes. I felt like if you got The Rock, the next person you got to have come out is Stone Cold. That could have been a Stone Cold segment. The crowd would have just, they probably would still be tearing up Los Angeles right now because Stone Cold came there. The toughest is, could you imagine a match that delivered but didn't really deliver what we were expecting? Good win for Jey. Jey now leaves the ring. Glass breaks. Out comes a guy, bald head, earring in the left ear, Austin 316 shirt, some shorts on, the toughest SOB ever to lace up the boots in the WWE. You can hear JR's voice in the back of your head. That's the toughest SOB in the back of your mind. Walk out to the ring. They would have tore the building down. You had The Rock. Then you had the Taker. Now you got Stone Cold. You had Cena. Now you got Stone Cold. Even if you couldn't got Stone Cold, what so many other people can do, they would have torn the house down. A lot of people don't understand. Yes, we see Booker T on NXT. Could you imagine right there? Can you dig it, sucker? And Booker T comes out and cuts a promo about being on Netflix. They would have torn the house down. RVD They would have tore the house down. You could have brought back ECW legend. You could have brought back anybody. Tommy Dreamer from ECW, the Dudley Boys. You could have brought them in that segment. Just was poor planning on WWE. And you know, the Real American Beer is a sponsor, so they wanted to get all their sponsors out there. But just poor planning, bringing that guy. Not a good move. Whoever thought about that segment, you may want to rethink it. And next time, you got some guys in the Hall of Fame. Could you imagine the trumpet blew and you would have got Nature Boy Ric Flair to come out and say, hey, Cena, I don't want you to break my record. I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure you don't break it. The crowd would have went off. Bret Hitman Hart. Little Lucas said that. She said, Dad, I wore the pink and black for Bret Hart today on the show. You could have got Bret the Hitman Hart come out and talk about the new era wrestler, where it's going on Netflix. Bret would have cut a great promo. Shawn Michaels, right there in the backstage, could have cut a promo. So many people. But we're moving on to the next segment. That was just a waste of 5 minutes that I think could have been done better. Now to our main event. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. The match everybody's been waiting on. And I said it on WOD last week when we were previewing Raw on Netflix, that you're going to get a premium live event match live on streaming network. You can't beat it. If you're WWE, you got to swing for the fences for your main event. Tribal Combat could have been your main event. But you want to open up hot because you want to keep people invested and watch the show, especially the new watchers. So now you had a great match that had a lot going on. Tribal Combat had a lot going on. Now you want to finish on the type of match that tells what WWE is all about. Wrestling. We're here to talk about wrestling. Well, you're going to see movesets. You're going to see counters. You're going to see just great wrestling between both wrestlers. And the right guy won the match. People are upset. Seth Rollins should have won. No, Rollins didn't need this win. Punk needed more than Rollins. The right guy went over. And I get so tired of people saying, there goes WWE, putting the old guy over the young guy. This does not hurt Rollins. It just sets Rollins up now to go on a great heel run, to get back and beat Punk. And go over as a heel, beating him, and have the crowd pop when he beats Punk. Great match right here. Knew I was the main event. Definitely was impressed with both of them. Felt like Punk, and I know a lot of people say, well, Punk did the same thing he did with Moxley in the Moxley match. Hey, he just borrowed the same script and made it work in WWE. Hey, it worked for me because I popped again the 2 GTSs. I liked it. Like that Rollins used a GTS. Like that Punk used the curve stomp. Pedigree. I mean, it was a great match right here between two guys that know how to put on 5-star matches. You can't be upset. Great WWE. Very impressed with it. Minus the one segment that we lost 5 minutes. I was like, what are we thinking? Had to give this WWE A. Got to give it A today. Raw on Netflix started off with a bang from the start to the finish. Great WWE show right here on Netflix. And we got to see, can they keep this momentum going? The momentum going as we build the Raw on Netflix on the next show. So let's jump over to the black and gold brand NXT. We hardly don't get to talk about NXT so much on the show. We get so bogged down with Raw and SmackDown that we forget about the other brand on the show, NXT. NXT New Year's Evil. Coming off a hot Raw, where The Rock made an announcement after having a few drinks. Man, I'll tell you, Raw was so attitude era. Having a few drinks backstage, then jumping in the car and driving off. I said, man, we are definitely on Netflix now. But coming off a hot Raw where The Rock announced that he would be at NXT the following night for the NXT show. So you knew that was going to definitely do big on that. And according to what we found out, NXT sold out. They had over 957,000 people watching the show, and they sold out for the third time in NXT history a stadium. They sold it out. So shout out to NXT right there for a big sellout. But to have 957,000 people watching on the CW is big for the WWE and big for the CW network. So let's talk to the CW. I mean, I know you guys do ACC basketball over in my area. You do high school football, high school basketball. You do all types of other sports. You're really trying to market the CW channel, but bring it on wrestling now. Got some good shows on CW. We'll talk about that on It Stakes, Wild Card, whatever. But that's more of an It Stakes segment. But they did good right there. For to have 957,000 people watching was good. So we jump right into the NXT Women's Championship match. My girl, Roxanne Perez, the prodigy. Roxanne Perez, the prodigy. She's my girl. I've been liking her since day one. Love her as a heel. She has everything you need to get on the main roster. Comes from that Booker T reality of wrestling factory. And a lot of these people on NXT and on WWE have came through that reality of wrestling doors of Booker T, Roxanne Perez, Jacob Fatu, the Tongas, Tonga Low, Tonga Lane. All of them have kind of come through that Booker T factory too. So a lot of people don't give Booker the credit. Yes, we give Booker the credit as a two-time Hall of Famer, but we don't give Booker the credit of being one of the people that kind of puts his stamp on these people before they get to that next step of NXT or going to New Japan and come to WWE, stuff like that. But good match right here. Going in, Sam McGirl's going to stay the champ, but it's New Year's Evil. Somebody's got to drop a title. Roxanne loses the title. I was shocked. Shocked that she lost, but I'm glad she lost, yes, because now she can come to the Rumble. Now, two things got to remember. If she wins the title back before the Rumble, she can come to the Rumble as NXT Women's Champ. Slims her chance of winning the Rumble by coming as NXT Women's Champ. Don't think they'll want the NXT Women's Champ of winning the Royal Rumble. You want somebody without the strap to win it to set up the story going into Mania. If she comes to the Rumble without the title, which I'm hoping she does, sets up the chance of her winning that Rumble, getting a good match with either Rhea or a good match now with Tiffany Stratton or Tiffany Time. And I will tell you, I will probably tell her to go after Rhea. I think her and Rhea would tear the house down at Mania leading up. And Roxanne can hold on the mic. She's got everything you need. This was a great match right here. One that I would not do nothing differently against. So much right there. And the nostalgia of The Rock being there just gave it more for NXT Evil. Then you got Kalani Jordan versus Cora Jade versus Stephanie Von Kier versus Lola Vice. Now, two people in this match that I'm big fans of, Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice. Like Lola Vice, they really preached this underground thinking she was an MMA fighter. The winner would get a shot at NXT Women's North American Championship. Another good match. But Valkyria defeats them. The one who I did not see winning won the match. I really thought they were going to go with Lola Vice because Lola Vice is really over. Knew they weren't going to go back with Kalani Jordan because she's already been the NXT North American Women's Champ. So you want to go with some new blood. That's what New Year's Evil was all about, new blood. So we got Valkyria now, who's the number one contender for the North American Championship. Now our next match, Fatal Influence versus Shotzi versus Tatum Paxley versus Gigi Dolan. Another good match. And one thing about NXT, they do so good with showcasing the women. And WWE does good with that on Raw and SmackDown, showcase the women. But NXT does good with making sure that the women get a lot of time on their programming. A good win for Darlin Shotzi and Paxley as they beat Fatal Influence. And Fatal Influence, they're growing on me. I know they got the champ over there. They're growing on me. It's not like what I really want, but I like Shotzi. Shotzi's my girl. Charlie Dempsey versus Lexis King. Another good match on New Year's Evil right here. And Charlie King beats Dempsey. Did not see that one coming that night. I really thought Charlie Dempsey was going to win. And Charlie Dempsey has what you need to be on SmackDown. He's the working man's wrestler. He's like a Daniel Bryan. He's like a Punk. He knows how to do everything. Good match right here. It's time for Dempsey to maybe start looking towards getting called up while this transfer portal is open. Now lead us to the main event. Trick Williams, our champ, versus Obafemi versus Eddie Thorpe. Three guys who can throw it down. Three guys who can go. Great match right here. One of the ones that I probably would go back and watch again. And it has finally happened. Obafemi is the NXT champion. He's the new champion of NXT. New Year's Evil for NXT was all about crowning new champs. That's what they did. My girl Roxanne lost. Trick Williams lost. Now the question is, Roxanne is ready to go up. Are we ready to see Trick go up? Trick could get over on Monday Night Raw. Being on Netflix with that Trick, all that momentum behind him, Trick has to go to the Rumble now. He has no other choice but to go to the Rumble. I think it would be a waste of a pick to have Trick Williams not go to the Rumble and not have Trick Williams signed to Raw. Trick Williams, don't put him on SmackDown on USA. Put him on Raw where that crowd can really get hot behind him. Because you gotta look, the crowd now on Netflix knows that they're not going to be censored on TV. They're going to get wild. Every Trick come out and whoop that Trick chant behind them, it's going to get louder and louder. It's going to feel like a Jey Uso entrance. Trick needs to be on Raw. Please don't put him on SmackDown and put him back in a feud with Carmelo Hayes. Put him on Monday Night Raw. Had a great SmackDown, but we're running out of time right here on WOD. We'll definitely be talking about SmackDown this week on next week's edition of WOD, talking about Raw and recapping everything else in the world of wrestling. This is Shawn. Enjoy your weekend, and I'm out.